Hello, everyone. Welcome to the HR Hangout, sponsored by SilkRoad, a leading provider of HR technology solutions. Today, I could not be more excited to be joined by my longtime colleague and friend, Jim Stroud. Jim is a talent management expert. He has written several books, including Content is the New Sourcing. He has done much consulting for organizations like Microsoft, Siemens, and Google. And today he is serving as the Senior Director of RPO Recruiting Strategies for Randstad Sourceright. Jim, thank you so much for joining us. I would first of all like to ask you about the importance of talent analytics and why more people are not doing it. With all the technology that's available, why do you think that organizations, particularly HR departments, have been so slow on the uptake?
I don't know. My guess would be that they would assume that it's too expensive to implement, or they're too used to the status quo, or more than likely they just don't know where to start.
What would you say to those people would be the most compelling reason to get out of your comfort zone and start doing something?
The most compelling business reason to start, I would say that talent analytics will help you hire more efficiently and make informed people decisions. Should I invest in more training? What skills do I already have available? Knowing what's available and how many employees may be ready at any given time for whatever kind of business strategy you want to implement. Google is the poster child for this kind of thing. They started a people analytics team with a bunch of different projects they did in the 90s, so long ago. The first project they did was something called a workforce prediction algorithm, which was an algorithm that helped them figure out when someone would most likely leave the company, which was controversial for a lot of reasons, the least of all being, why would a manager invest in training an employee or promoting an employee if this algorithm said that they would be leaving soon? So that's how their people analytics team sort of started, with things like that. It went on to do other things that were a bit more positive for the company. Not that that algorithm thing wasn't positive, but a couple of things that he did that I can think of right off is that they launched this program called Project Oxygen, which measured how good their managers were. And so they figured out these things make a manager good. And so they took these things that make a manager good and applied them to managers that were struggling. And now the managers that were struggling are now doing well. So they were able to do that by measuring different analytics. Another thing that they did too was that they solved some internal controversy, because at one point people who worked at Google thought that the way to get promoted quickly, or rather to get promoted in general, was to work on the high-profile projects, the Gmails or the Google search engine itself, that kind of thing. But by using the data, which was acquired from the analytics team, they were able to figure out that people who were promoted, those are the ones who got the most feedback from their managers. And it had nothing to do with actually working on the Googleplex campus or working on a particular project. So things like that, having the right data available and knowing how to interpret it well, can help you solve a lot of people problems that you may have at your company. An example I'm thinking of is Luxottica Group. They make those high fashion things, shades and other stuff. But they had an issue where they were their data showed that it took 96 days to fill a position. And once they realized that, when they investigated it, the managers were saying that, hey, it's taking that long because the recruiters are dragging their feet. And recruiters are saying it's taking it long because the managers are taking so long to make a decision. So they're going back and forth. And they looked at the data, and it turns out that it was the managers that were at fault. And so they adjusted their processes, and long story short, they made 96 days to fill. They took it from 96 days down to 46 days. So a lot faster time, a lot shorter time to fill by leveraging data. And then there's the airplane, JetBlue. Yeah, JetBlue. They have this thing where they have a metric called the Crew Member Net Promoter Score. That's right, Crew Member Net Promoter Score. And then what it does is it monitors employee engagement and predicts financial performance of a company. So based on the engagement level of the company, they're able to see how that is directly affecting the bottom line. And then the third example I could give is Cisco. spelled SYSCO, which is different from that other Cisco company. But what Cisco does was they track their delivery associates, their truck drivers, and by monitoring their I forget what they called it, but monitoring their satisfaction levels, they were able to improve their retention rate from 65% to 85%. So again, leveraging data in a very beneficial way. So yeah, those are the three.
Would be the most appropriate place to start? What should they do first?
What should they do first? What should they do first? I don't know. No, I know. What they should do first is look for a quick win, because if they can prove that analyzing data immediately affects the bottom line, then they'll get more buy-in to do more data projects. I'm thinking the first thing somebody may want to do is to look at their tenure rates. If they can see how long people historically stay at their company for a particular role, and the data says that people who have a particular role, they tend to leave after 2 years and 2 months. Well, when someone gets close to that mark where they historically leave the company, at that point, start giving them more work, or start promoting them, or start picking them for certain projects, and say, hey, you've done a good job so far, and we want to put you on this particular project, to get them incentivized to stay just a little bit longer. And then you measure your retention rates year over year and say, hey, since we started promoting people in this particular role around this particular time frame, they stay longer with the company. So you're able to prove that, and you say, hey, this is great, now I want to do more data projects. And that should give you the oomph, political pull, whatever you need to do more data projects like that. Maybe look at things like, I don't know, where do you typically hire from? Do you typically hire from company A, B, and C, your major rivals? Well, then you know that historically your data says you hire from company A, B, and C, so let's plan a recruiting strategy to further target those companies or companies like them.
So I'd like to thank Jim Stroud for joining us today. We appreciate his time and expertise, and thanks to SilkRoad for sponsoring another HR Hangout. We'll see you next time.